Yay, it's live. Oh, that was strange. It may mean that it could be an iffy, unstable broadcast. So I went live a few moments ago, and then it was stuck on going live for a while, buffering, and then I had to refresh it eventually, and now it's working, so that's good news. But I'm not sure how stable it's going to be then. There was no internet a few moments ago. Yeah, okay. Well, the internet's back. I'm now live, so hopefully it's going to maintain itself. So hello, welcome to the Thursday stream. As I've said previously, I have no set time now for the Thursday stream. So subscribe to the channel and you can be notified, like now. She's live. Or yeah, it's just random. So yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, welcome. Sorry that I wasn't here last Thursday. I went somewhere else and I couldn't find a suitable time, so I couldn't do the stream. Got a title, and I haven't got a title for this talk. So it's so funny how I get titles all week, and then and it comes to the stream, setting everything up, and I'm like, just there's nothing coming. So yeah, it's just non-duality. Non-duality and Kelly is the stream title. I might, as I start to speak about it, a title might appear, and I'll add it on later. We shall see. I hope the volume is okay. Let me know in the chat if it isn't, and I shall do nothing. But I'll know, so I can then I don't know, try to fix it in some yeah. I have no idea how I'd fix that, but okay. So non-duality. So non-duality, the way that it is expressed here is not something that you can actually speak about. You can't really speak about it. You can't really get hold of it. You can't really describe it. You can't really put it into language and words. But hey ho, humans speak. A lot of humans speak, and So these words, these ideas, these expressions are expressing. They are coming out and expressing the subject called non-duality, which is really, really beautiful. And I think the reason why I'm saying that you can't actually express it is because you can't express it. The words fail. The words totally fail to express it. And so it becomes less important. It becomes less serious. It becomes less important really what the words are. Obviously there's an attempt to make sense and to be putting the words in order, you know, the way that the language as human speaks English is, but actually it's not really that important what exactly is being spoken, because what is being spoken beyond the words is what's really being spoken, which is very confusing. I understand that. What I'm saying is that the words aren't really it. The words are just words to describe something, but they actually, what's being spoken about isn't contained in the words. It's something else being communicated. But as humans, we think the words and the meaning of the words are superior and are important, and they are to a degree, but they're not in this subject. You could fight and argue and be really insistent on how I say something, how I describe something, and really try and pull that apart. That's okay, but actually, it's really irrelevant. When it comes down to it, it really is irrelevant what is being spoken, actually. Which is very beautiful. Very beautiful. So, words. Obviously, you could just sit in silence, and I'm happy to do that as well at times. Um, sit in silence. It's totally valid and equal. Um, we definitely overemphasize verbal language. We definitely overemphasize spoken language and meaning and the intellect. But also there's a playfulness in speaking. There can be a playfulness in it. It's just not true. And that's where the sticky part comes. This belief in words, meaning being true and being meaningful. So we play, we speak. Yes, so non-duality. That was the intro to the intro. So what is non-duality? Non-duality, I feel excited now. Oh, non-duality is peace. Non-duality is freedom. Non-duality is such a joy. It's such liberation. It's liberation. It's freedom. It's joy. It's love. It's peace. Total freedom. That's what non-duality is. It's freedom from suffering. It's joy. It's like life bundles itself. It bundles itself into a conditioned human experience. It seems to limit itself into a particular human experience. And that human experience will come with certain conditions, of course, conditioning, certain circumstances, all those things. And it will shape and affect that bundle. And life seems to be looking through that bundle. It seems to be identified as this bundle. And it seems to, like a seed, it seems to want to stretch and grow and expand. It wants to be naturally itself. It wants to be naturally free, to grow, to expand, to experience. But it seems as if when that conditioning is attached to it, or it's seeing, looking through conditioning, it seems to be limited in the experience, limited in its its experience. Like it gets caught and stuck and limited. But there's always this seed of this doesn't feel like right, or this seed to expand and be free of that limitation, that conditioning. But there's always this freedom, there's always this life, this purity, this freedom that isn't bound up in that bundle. It's the natural being, the natural presence, the natural consciousness, the natural, whatever word you use to describe that. It's natural and it's free, but it seems to be bundled, caught in that bundle of a conditioned human. But then possibly there's a possibility of something like waking that up, whether it be I don't know, hearing a speaker or finding a book or someone saying something, or just happening out of no cause and effect. There's this waking up, or this remembering, or this resonance with something beyond that human expression. And there's a resonance, like one thing here, resonating. It's not really separate, but this resonating all beyond the human fog of a character, of a conditioning. like a remembering of this freedom, a remembering that you aren't bound, no matter what the circumstance of the human, poverty, being rich, wealthy, being sad, being happy, traumatized, not traumatized, healthy, being whatever it is, abused, not abused, whatever it is, disabled, not disabled. There's this just remembering beyond that. Like something's untouched by the circumstances. Something's untouched by the mood, by the experience, by the conditioning. And there's just a remembering of that. There's something that's not bound in that. Not remembering through the mind, but there's this, oh yeah, there's something that's not in that, bound in that. Which is like a waking up of that which seemed to be sleeping, but it never was. It was just the character human configuration just seemed to be heavier, thicker, more being looked at or looked through. So this non-duality is a pointing to that, back to that freedom, to that nakedness, to that naturalness, to that spark. Just this waking up out of that hypnotism, that hypnotism of thought. Hypnotism of that personal identity. Doesn't mean you don't have an identity, or you don't have a personality or a flavor, but it's like it's not yeah, it's not truth. It's not what's experiencing. Who's banging? It's not what's experiencing. That storyline can't be the experiencer. It's only what's appearing as the experience. It's just beautiful. Coming out of nothing, seemingly appearing as something. But at the same time, not being anything. In this moment, the instance of this, what's happening, where is that person? Where is that owner of anything? In the story world, yes, we own a car, we own whatever, a house, we own our clothes. But coming back to what is actually happening, none of that is actually relevant or the truth of the matter. There is just what is, there is what's happening. And this can sound really like a bit freaky, a bit far out, but it really isn't. It really isn't. What's being spoken about is simply the natural experience. There's nothing far out about it. It's right here, it's what is. It's not about me or you getting it or not having it, or am I there, am I not there? Do you have it? Do I have it? It's got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with dreaming. Nothing to do with dreaming of a me, dreaming of a you. Nothing to do with the idea of time, of past, of future, of getting it. Nearly there, not quite there, being there, not being there. It's got nothing to do with any of that. Nothing to do with teacher and student. Just this naturalness. Just what is. The stories, the narrations, they come, they go. Nothing to do with this. They're not rejected or resisted or avoided. Everything's totally as it is, totally welcome, totally included. But they're not going anywhere. They're not taking you anywhere. Who would this one be that's being taken somewhere? So this story of you on a path, on a journey, again, not to be rejected or resisted, it's just not true, it's just appearing and disappearing if it is. But how does that appear, that story of you on a path, the story of you not being there or the story of you being there? How can that appear? It's clearly an appearance, appearing, but how can that appear? What allows that to appear? What does it appear in? What is seeing that? That which doesn't come and go, that which isn't an appearance, that which isn't a form, can't be named. Can't be named. So what can't be named? And of course the mind wants to name. The mind's job is to name, label, objectify. That's totally okay too. What is that beauty? My neighbour's dog's barking. Don't know whether you can hear it on the street. So you're welcome to ask questions in the chat. I cancelled my Zoom account. I haven't managed to. I haven't renewed it all. Yeah, so just use the chat to ask anything about this non-duality subject. At least the internet's working. Seems strong. I'll just write it in the chat box in case someone doesn't. Ask questions here in the chat. Woof, 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 woof. Sorry. It wasn't too loud, was it? Barking in your ear. Hi. Is there anything better than this message? I bet. Is there anything better than this message? It's really addictive, repetitive, but totally compelling. Oh, yeah. 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 It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. They say that whole bitten by a no, it's tiger. Thinking of a snake. No, it's tiger. You're like waking the. Oh, I can't remember now, but yeah, bitten spider. I can't remember what it was. But you know, when you get you bitten and then you can't get out of it. Like, yeah, sorry, I'm thinking about the snake. Is it spider? Is it tiger? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. But no, there's nothing. there's nothing. There's nothing better than nothing and everything. No, it can't be. How could there be? How could there be something better than nothing and everything? You can't get outside of everything. You can't get anything else. It's within every pleasure, every form would be within everything and made of nothing. So no, there's nothing better than nothing and everything. Oh, jumped up. Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah, the tiger's mouth. That's it. Yeah, and it was a tiger. I was thinking, what bites? Is it a spider, a snake? Yeah, tiger's mouth. That's the thing. Yeah. So it doesn't. So it doesn't bite you then. Head in tiger's mouth. Oh yeah. So bitten by the bug and then head in. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing better. Nothing better than freedom. Nothing better than your natural reality. The natural reality. Nothing better than what is. There can't be. It can't be. That dream of movement, which is like thoughts, abstractions. It can't be better than what is. Because what is what is. Abstraction. It just can't be. it just can't be. Yeah, yeah. You can't escape. Um, you can't escape. Yeah, but also like that doesn't make sense in a way as well because like who like who would that be who can or can't escape as well? That's obviously a fiction. It's a fiction that there's someone who can or can't escape. Bitten by the bug. Dan Riffraff. It seems like a silly question to ask, but it keeps popping up. Is this blind? Or maybe better question, what is it that sees? Is this blind? Is this blind? No, I wouldn't say it's blind. Or what is it that sees? So normally we think of sees as in the eyes, the vision, seeing, but I'm taking it you mean more sees, as in what is it that experiences, or what is it that is allows experience. And that is that the $1,000,000 question. Like, what is it? What is it? And that's what scientists and philosophers and can't grasp. No one can grasp what it is. They call it consciousness, or they call it, I don't know what they call it, awareness, or whatever they try and put a word to, but they can't grasp it. They know that matter isn't matter, it's empty. They can't grasp what makes up this world. They can't find it because it isn't a thing. As if it isn't a thing, then they can't label it and know it, and put a ring around it and limit it. But that is the $1,000,000 or $1,000,000,000 question. What is it? And at some point, even for these scientists who are trying to get the answer to that, at some point, you hear the older ones, they're like, at some point, they're a bit like, I give in. The sense of like, I can't know what that is. A sense of like knowing you can't know what that is. You can't possibly, like, the intellect, the mind can't possibly grab hold of that. It's impossible. And there's some peace in that. There's beauty in that. There's like a giving up in that. There's a freedom in that. There's a relief in that. And it isn't necessarily you haven't got the answer. It's just the answer isn't an answer that you can't know the answer intellectually. But like, in a way, there is the answer, but it's not intellectual. Like, it's everything is the answer. Not a thing, and everything is the answer. But not as that word or that sentence. It's like it's calling it that, but it's actually not limited to that word. Nothing, everything. Yeah. Dan, it's the oneness that wakes up to itself, and the apparent character observes this but mistakes itself as a seeker finding something. Sorry, reread that. Yeah. And that's happening in this freedom. So you put the character mistakes that it's found something, but that's happening also in this freedom. Like, it's not true, the character hasn't found anything, but yeah, it's just happening. And there's something that doesn't need to find anything, hasn't lost anything. It's fully itself. Beautiful response, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so you can't find this. in a way, you could say this finds you. This finds you. You don't find it. It's like ta-da! Oh, I keep reading that message, but it's really addictive, repetitive, but totally compelling. That's really. Would you say it feels like being in constant meditation? Um, I wouldn't say that, but in a way, yeah, like in a way, meditation is all there is meditation. Meaning, what does that even mean? Like meditation, we know it obviously as a practice of trying to um, be present, trying to get out of the thinking mind. But that is, I see that as being everything, always. Like you can't really. Meditation is this, like it's emptiness. It's emptiness. It's what is. Like it's meditation or presence is always. And so that as a practice, the human being is trying to reduce the mental chatter or get out of that mental chatter. And it's beautiful to sit and have a formal time to get out of that mental chatter, or to watch it, or to not be caught up in it and going along with it unconsciously. As a practice, like mindfulness, being mindful of what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Great practices, really beautiful. Just get out of that story, that narration. Really beautiful. But this is always here. This freedom, this peace. It's always here. Whether you meditate formally or not, it's this freedom. It's just when you identify with that thinking mind, the narrative, then it feels as if you are that, as if you are in time, you are a character moving through this story that thoughts are saying and describing, totally hooked on that. And so to meditate, to be mindful, is a way of getting out of that mental stream, or be aware of that mental stream. but you don't like get it and lose it. It's always here. I suppose you could say it's more about identification with the thinking. What's it called? Mindfulness. Where it might be different is obviously there are practices you can do to get out of the mental stories and stuff, out of the mind and the thoughts. There's this hearing what's happening, seeing the walls and the computer, and feeling the bum on the seat, the feet on the floor, the hands on the lap, the texture of the clothes on the shoulders or the legs or whatever. It's coming out of time. This, we call it presence, coming out of time, of thoughts, future and past. But I think where non-duality is different is this idea that you are someone, you are someone meditating, you are someone being mindful or trying to be mindful of what's happening, trying to be present, trying to be here. This is also part of thought, part of the dream, part of the narration, the story playing. This is the crux, the central character. So to believe that you're meditating or you're being mindful is a total illusion. It's part of the dream. This story of you being here, being the one looking, being the one hearing, feeling. This is the illusion. I think it's beautiful to meditate or to do mindfulness. Really, really beautiful and really useful as well. But while you believe you're the one doing that, you're the one in that, you're practicing. While you believe that narration that this you is involved, then that's the limitation of it, I think. The limitation of that. And when non-duality is questioning that one who's meditating or being mindful, because if you're meditating or you're being mindful, at some point you're not going to be meditating, you're not going to be mindful. And then there's that whole thing of, oh, I've got it, I'm mindful or I'm meditating, and now I'm not. So there'll always be this dualistic, I'm doing it, I'm getting there, I'm present, and then I'm not. Always this. And non-duality is pointing to something beyond that, beyond you doing or not doing. Who is this one? Who is this you? Who is that that person claiming? Who is that person speaking? That person? Who is it? Like, who is it? Who's this story referring to? Excuse me. Who's this story referring to? Who's got it? Who's not got it? So beautiful. doesn't mean you don't use language and say I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's just how we communicate. But it's a deeper, like, it's just like yeah. Is there a living in that idea? So in a way, I wouldn't say it's like living in constant meditation. Although I would in one way, I wouldn't as well in another way. I would say that it's living in constant meditation. Sorry, being in constant meditation. I wouldn't say that as well, because it's not like anything. It's not like anything. You couldn't really describe it as anything. The best way to describe it is it's like everything. It's like everything, not any particular thing. It's everything. And it's not a thing. Which doesn't answer your question, I know. But that's the answer to the question. You can't say it's like anything. And that's why it's free. That's why it's free. The mind wants to grab hold of and keep it a prisoner into this name, into this label, this feeling, this concept. You can't. You can't. That's why it's free. Okay. Something is resonating with what you are saying, regardless. Yeah, of course. Yeah, regardless. Yeah, regardless. Regardless of what anyone says, regardless. Totally. Regardless. Oh, lovely. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thumbs up, please, for the video. Please, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again, I guess, next week. If not before, I don't know. But you know what I mean. I'll see you next time. Okay. Bye.